Hello, hello, and welcome to January 2022. Happy New Year's. It is the first day of January. January 1st, 2022. Anyway, I am back in the Heavenly Traveler workshop. It has been a hot minute. The last time I created a journal and filmed was March of 2021. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you just kind of have to step away. And then, of course, life, doing lots of stuff in life. So let me talk to you first about this cute little journal that I created. It's a laminated cover. I designed the whole thing. Plus, this particular one is a junk journal. And this one is a notebook. I'll show you the inside in a minute. So we now have the wire binding on the journals. Can I keep it in shot? And I'll be getting larger and learning better how to create with my binding machine as well. Anyway, so I designed this whole cover. It has gold foil, and it's just beautiful. It's blue onto light to gold sparkles. And then it has the gold foil, the angel wings. And this is laminated, very flexible too, really nice. Handy dandy little traveler. Heavenly Traveler. So if you go to mediumintheraw.com, you're going to find everything about me there. You might recognize these cute little butterflies. Every Heavenly Traveler journal does have the angel wings. And the purpose of the Heavenly Traveler journals is for you to journal your journey with your loved ones who are on the other side and document your experiences, what I call the spiritual breadcrumb trail. And anyway, there's coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper in this beauty. Little doilies. It's just so cute. Just lots of places to put photos, notes, little pocket here. Anyway, just really cute. Also, we have a little bit of nice thin tracing paper. So, as example, you can have these photo frame things. I might add these to it. I might add a little bit more to this journal. But, say for instance, if you wanted to put a photo of your loved one right here, put the photo, add little stickers, a little note. So, this is the junk journal one. And like I said, created top to finish by me. I designed them on my computer, and you might recognize these pretty purple butterflies that are on my website. So I love this. I'm really excited. So for Christmas, I got myself a binding machine. And this is the hardcover one. And it has a pretty rose gold, foiled rose gold. Of course, the wire binding is again, and the signature angel wings. Again, the Heavenly Travelers are your loved ones who are on the other side, who are in heaven, and they travel to the physical realm to communicate, and that's why I call them the Heavenly Travelers. And so here, this is a journal, beautiful journal, and I don't know where that came from, but that was on the paper after. But and this book here has, I think, let's see, like 33 pages, I think. 60 front and back journaling pages. Anyway, nice sturdy construction. So that's really cute. And again, in here, you can also just journal your daily life. Of course, again, keeping track of the information that flows through you. It is the soul that powers the body. We all have a connection and communication with the spirit world. Is just coming into that awareness. And if you're new to me, hi, I'm Pamela Theresa, medium in the raw. I am a true born medium. So I know a thing or two about spirit communication. I've always been this way. And it's my knowing that everybody has the ability to communicate and receive information from their loved ones who are on the other side. It's just coming into that awareness. And again, I'm repeating myself, but it's through following the spiritual breadcrumb trail, because your loved ones who are on the other side, the Heavenly Travelers, they use the physical world around you to communicate with you. So for instance, if you've been seeing a lot of purple butterflies lately, and if that happens to be the color that your daughter loved, and she loved butterflies, and that you just see them in the strangest places, and that most particular time where you had been thinking about her, and all of a sudden, boom, there you'll see a purple butterfly somewhere. That's the spiritual breadcrumb trail. And why you're seeing the purple butterfly is that your daughter, who's on the other side, has universal sight. She's heavenly. She sees everything. And she knows that there's that purple butterfly on a t-shirt or on a piece of paper, on the side of a car, on the window sticker. And so she tells you, whether you think you hear her or not, but she says, hey, Mom, look to your left. Or you'll just get the feeling to look in a particular direction. And boom, there it is. Typically speaking, the spiritual breadcrumb trail, the information comes in at least 2 or 3 times. You'll see something specific in particular, and you'll just know, you have that knowing, and that just like, wow, I know that this is my person. And why it is you want to keep track of the spiritual breadcrumb trail and journal it is because documenting this journey will help you validate up next week. Oh, hey, I experienced that yellow flower last week, and here it is coming up again, and I wasn't even looking for it. And my mother, her favorite flower was, the yellow flower. This is just an example. And so then you would journal it, document it, date it, document it. And then when you reflect back and you see, oh, wow, that's patterning up again. Now, I know it's like the power of suggestion, but if they don't suggest, and if we don't suggest, then, well, it's not going to happen. Anyway, so I also have another one that y'all might recognize. I did put up some videos creating this one, Circle of Knowledge. It's a Heavenly Traveler junk journal, and I need to get it up on my Etsy shop. Now that I'm getting it, has a journal back here where you can just journal. So it has, if I recall, several different signatures, 3 different signatures here, I think. Yeah. So it does. 1, 2, 3. I actually really love this journal. See, got some lace here. All right. Anyway, we are back on top of it again, y'all. So go to mediumintheraw.com, join my website, go to mediumintheraw.locals.com, and just keep up with everything I'm doing here. I just wanted to hop on real quick and share with y'all that I am back in it again, and I will be creating more. These were my prototypes because, like I said, I just got the binding machine, and it came in yesterday. So I created this one yesterday, finished it today, and created this one today. So I just wanted to see. Plus, I've got some more foil coming in. I ordered foil, and I got myself a laminator machine that would actually foil better. I've actually ordered some more laminate that is 10 millimeters, millimeters, or 10 m's, mils, 10 mils, mil. Been doing a lot of measuring lately. So it'll be a lot thicker. This one is, I think, 3 mil, but it's still pretty sturdy and stable. Because I thought that I really like these flexible ones a lot too as well. Again, this one's made out of the chipboard. But I've made, let's see here. See if my mic will let me go over here. Yeah, here we go. These are the little Heavenly Travelers I made back in the day. Did I date it? Nope. They're laminated too, and this is cardstock as well. So I really like the laminated ones too as well. Another thing is I'm going to be creating, being that there's a, situation going on in our world, I've been doing Zoom sessions, and, back in the day when we were doing a lot of in-person things, I would actually make Heavenly Traveler journals and gift them to my clients whenever we met for session. And so I think what I'll do here is, now that we're doing all of our sessions online right now, due to the current situation with the pandemic, I think I might start adding some journals, some little minis, like these as a gift, like for my clients when they book a session. So, but also too, I will be adding some of them to our Heavenly Traveler shop, theheavenlytraveler.com. That will take you to the Etsy shop, or you go to mediumintheraw.com and you can find the Etsy shop from there too as well. Let's see here. What else? I think what I'm going to do here is upload this video because, hello, how are you? It's been forever. This channel, the Heavenly Traveler bookbinding channel, like I said, the last upload I think was in March. Well, it wasn't going to go anywhere. I have been busy living and working, and I don't know about you, but there are times in my life where I take a step back from my creative process, and sometimes the days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into almost a year. And a little story here, I just cleaned out and organized and decluttered the Heavenly Traveler workshop. I had been ignoring it for a while, and it had turned into kind of like a dumping ground for everything. And so I knew that I needed to come in to organize and try to find a way to get back into the groove of creating the Heavenly Traveler journals, but my heart wasn't in it. And so finally, I made the decision to go for it and clean out the workshop. And I had removed everything out of the Heavenly Traveler workshop, had it in my living room, and I really had a thought that maybe I would just donate it all to Hope's Closet, which is it's a thrift store, a Christian thrift store here in Jacksonville, Florida. If you're in Jacksonville, Florida, they got great deals on shirts and clothes and all that jazz. They're pretty awesome. Anyway, I actually was thinking about just donating all of my journaling supplies to Hope's Closet because I had lost that desire to create. And for me, creating the Heavenly Traveler journals has been like a lifeline. And because my job as a medium is definitely not easy. And so this is a way where I can integrate it into my work. Everything really for me has to have a purpose, right? And so it's perfect. I can offer them to my clients and to guide them to journaling and continuing that connection without the medium, connection with their loved ones. And, but back to the point, the last 2 years has been, for everybody, really not good, where I feel like I found myself in a very dark hole, and I was just functioning, and because as an empath, I'm feeling so much of what's going on in the world and a lot of the fear, and so I just buried myself in my couch, and when I wasn't in session, I would just be binge watching whatever I could. I know that if I had a nickel for every show that I watched over the last 2 years, just burying myself away from the world and surviving that way. With that, I actually lost my passion for life, and even my passion for my creativity here and my outlet. And so it was really interesting. And I'm telling you, I really came close to donating all of it. But the spirit world guided, hey, just get it back in there, organize it. And I didn't even organize it to the level that I would, because there's trinkets and bobs and all sorts of lots of little things to organize through. And just to give you an example, got like lots of little tins. I've got tons of cups. I'll show you my Heavenly Traveler room someday, but there's just lots of thousands of little items here that go along with these journals. So it's really not even organized to my level of organization, but my loved ones on the other side guided me to at least put it back in here. And so it was just one step at a time. I really had given up. I was just going to walk away from it and I forgot the joy that it gave me. And sometimes when we find ourselves in a darkness, it's really hard to take that step in that direction of doing something that gives you joy, because you're so far away from joy, and not realizing that if you take that first step towards that joy, that's what's going to help you feel better. But you know what I'm talking about. When you get into that dark place, it's hard to actually, you don't feel like it, you don't want to. The world is so dark. You don't want to fake it till you make it at this point. You don't want to pretend like everything's okay. And then also too, for me, I didn't want to put the energy into these precious spiritual creations. And I say precious spiritual creations because I would tell you all the time, it is the soul that powers the body. The physical body is the coat for the soul. And this physical body is a very powerful vessel for the beautiful eternal spirit that exists within. Just blended and molded together as one for the moment whilst I'm here in the physical. And with that spiritual power and my intent in creating these Heavenly Traveler journals, my mind, and plus as I'm a medium, my mind is always on. It's so interesting when I do create these journals. I never really know who is going to get what journal and what journal was going to call to the person. But as I'm creating them, being the medium, always with spirit communication, people are talking to me. A lot of times I don't really know who they are until after the recipient of the journal receives the journal, and they say, okay, that's exactly perfect. That is exactly what my mom, my brother, my sister, my uncle, my brother, my son, my daughter, that's what they would want. And it's amazing, especially with these junk journals, like, the colors and certain things and how I put them in there. Everything means something, and especially when I embellish them. And so it's a very spiritual journey here, even creating the Heavenly Travelers journals. And so if I'm in a very dark way, and energy is real, and I'm in a very deep depression, the recipient of this journal, if I'm in a very deep, dark depression, when they touch it, because everybody is empathic to one degree or another, everybody can feel and sense, everybody can. And if I'm in a very dark way, when I create this journal, when they pick it up, they don't know why, but it feels wrong. And so I do hold this as very sacred, very important, and I do want to be in the right place. And I could not get myself in the right place. And that's why when I created y'all might remember I created the Remember You cards, the Spiritual Awareness and Empowerment deck. I started creating these, many, many years ago, but I started producing them, hand creating them with the spiritual messages back in late 2019. I was developing, getting the course on paper in 2018, 2019, and then was really launching at the end of 2019 into 2020. And y'all all know what happened in 2020. So that was, this has kind of been on the back burner too, because I do hand make these cards on these decks. I make them, this is not the full deck, but 40 cards per spiritual, beautiful spiritual messages, 40 of them in each deck. But when I'm in the wrong way, I don't want to create, I don't want to touch. Because this is a physical item. It's different when I sit in session, and that's just my natural state in spirit communication. And so when people schedule a session with me and we're sitting in session, I'm delivering messages from the spirit world. That is so untainted. It is pure. It is beautiful. And by the way, if you do want a session, they are Zoom sessions. They're video sessions. They're recorded just for you. And after the session, you'll receive a copy of that recording. So that's what's the benefit of video sessions too, as well. Anyway, so my darkness really doesn't interfere with my sessions at all. But again, when I'm creating these physical items, I really need to be in that right space. And I wasn't. I basically have been feeling like I'm hanging on the edge of a cliff for the last 2 years. More so than 2 years, but most significantly over the last 2 years, because after fighting and battling and getting up again and getting up again, and then really starting to get a grip and in life and forward motion after trials, tribulations, and struggles. And then things outside of our control happen, and that would be the pandemic. And I tell you, it just really knocked me on my butt. And I look at this, when I look back on this, I do believe I'm going to come back bigger and stronger, and so are you. I'm looking forward to 2022, but with a big question mark. Now I'm not going to be focusing so much on, we are where we are. It is what it is. Whatever happens with this pandemic happens, but we still have to live. And that's the thing that I've really kept quiet, because I can't be that spiritual teacher. I can't be that medium. I can't really be delivering the information the spirit world's giving, because it may not fit the current political narrative. And I'm living in a world where there could be information that the spirit world delivers that may not be welcomed on some platforms. It's nothing nefarious or whatnot. It just is more in the vein of hope springs eternal. We can't live in fear. We have to live our lives. And I do believe, and I've kind of been waiting for everybody to come to that awareness, to where I no longer have to live in this fear. I can get up and live my life, and I'm not going to allow fear to drive me. Because that's a main thing that's been going on in our world today. And where if people really step back and look at, hey, the soul powers the body. The physical body's the coat for the soul. I have that strength. Prayer is the most powerful tool that I have. We would be living in a different world today, and where people would actually be healthier. So as I was talking about, the soul powers the body, but the physical body is this powerful vessel for the soul. I honor and respect and take care of and exercise and drink water. And I honor my physical body too as well, as everybody. If you want to feel good, go for a walk, drink some water, eat some salad if you want to, and some greens and some protein and all of that. Legal disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. Go see a doctor if you need to. Got me doctors too. I'm kind of skirting around I want to be a little bit careful as far as how my message is delivered here. If you're still here, by the way, I really didn't know this is going to turn into a video of this length. I just thought I was going to show off this new Heavenly Traveler that I created today, these Heavenly Travelers. But hope springs eternal. Your positive mental attitude. And in the next video, I'll show you, I made some chips. The spirit world guided me to make some chips. Let me go grab them real quick. Hold on. Okay, hold on. So in my desperation and trying to get back up again and out of my dark hole, the spirit world guided me to, this was part of a spiritual breadcrumb trail too as well, by the way. I was reading or listening to an audiobook on YouTube, and it's called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. And Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill. Way back in the day, I was a very young teenager when I came across the Think and Grow Rich, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And the books have acted more like mentors for me in a way, as a guiding post as far as how to shift my attitude, because that's important. As being an empath and feeling a lot of the darkness of the world, I really have to focus on my mental state and understanding that I have control. And I guess the most important thing that I could point out here, as far as like the last 2 years, it's been significantly harder to really maintain more personal, mental, emotional control, because empathically, I have been hit hard, because there's been so much grief, so much darkness, so much fear on a global level. Human beings, other people, the soul that powers the body, experiencing all of these emotions. And for me, as an empath, it's been quite crushing. And if you really want to understand my work as a medium and see the demonstration of the empath, you go to mediumintheraw.com. I have Medium in the Raw episodes there. We've uploaded a good portion of the episodes that aired locally on CW17 on mediumintheraw.com. Anyway, as I was listening to the book, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, that's when Hope Springs Eternal came up, and positive mental attitude, and a talisman. They talked about creating a talisman with on one side PMA and the other side NMA, negative mental attitude, positive mental attitude. Well, years and years ago, I actually had created myself a little talisman, and I just cut it out with a little cardboard, laminated it with the cold lamination, and just before I laminated it, just took a magic marker and put PMA on one side and NMA on the other side, and then drew a little gold around it to kind of accent it a little bit. I carried that little talisman around with me for years to remind me it was my decision whether or not I had a positive attitude or a negative attitude, because life is going to happen anyway, right? So bad things are going to happen, good things are going to happen, but it's all on how our attitude about the particular situation, how our mindset, emotionally, mentally, and so that's what these talismans are all about. They're little reminders. Well, anyway, I was listening to that audiobook. I've got ink on me, sorry. And it reminded me of that talisman I had made years and years ago. And that, gosh, I really want to make another one. So that was kind of the first journey back into the Heavenly Traveler workshop, come to think of it, y'all. So it's no mistake that the reason why I'm popping this up here right now. So I did, and that's before I reorganized it. I came in here, got some cardstock, and tried to create another little talisman. And then I got to thinking, gosh, I want something a little bit more sturdy, because I want something that, works well. And so I was thinking of poker chips. And so Stephen, my honey, went online and found a company where I could actually create my own personalized poker chips, which is the perfect size for our little talisman. And of course, purple, so pretty. So one side it says PMA, positive mental attitude, and you might be able to see teeny tiny little purple butterflies. That's my website, purple butterfly, that when you go to mediumintheraw.com, you'll see it. But let's see, let me show you here. I can open this. There, pretty little purple butterflies. Positive mental attitude on one side and Hope Springs Eternal. I made the decision that this time when I made it, I didn't want to have the NMA, negative mental attitude. I don't need to be reminded about that because I'm living in it. So what I wanted was hope. And I'm looking at 2022 as the year of finding hope again. And so it was through that journey of first getting up out of the darkness, following the guidance of the spirit world, through the breadcrumb trail, going back to success through a positive mental attitude, then being reminded of the little talisman that I used to carry around with me for years and years and years. And then I lost it. Long story, really short, y'all. Okay, I'll make it short. About 10 years ago, after a bad divorce, we lost everything. And my stuff was in storage. My little talisman that I had with me for probably 20 years. It was worn out. I had taped it and glued it, and I don't know why I didn't create another one, but it was just one of those, you know what I'm talking about? You have something and you keep it no matter how worn and tattered it becomes. It's that thing that you just have to have. Anyway, so for $160, I lost all my stuff in storage. My talisman was there, and so I never replaced it, never made another one until here, all these years later. But that was about almost 10 years ago where I lost all my stuff, everything. But now I've regained and rebuilt my life. And so I have been in darkness. I know how to get back up again. So do you. So we all do. Prayer is the most powerful tool, right? So it was through that and following that guidance and coming back in here to the Heavenly Traveler workshop, so I could find my materials to create my own little talisman, which led me on the journey to creating. And now I have 100 of these, which I'm going to gift or give away or sell. But I wanted to have a solid, like, oh, here we go. This has meat to it, and it's waterproof. I actually put water on it, and it doesn't bleed. It's really nice. But the minimum I could purchase was 100. So I'm like, well, okay. So I have 100, and now I'm like, I'm going to, had I been going to in-person sessions, everybody I would meet, I would be giving them one of these because I like to give spiritual gifts away to my clients. But anyway, so this little trinket, Hope Springs Eternal, Positive Mental Attitude, creating these brought me back into the Heavenly Traveler workshop. Had I not followed the guidance of the spirit world and done that, I would not be filming this and showing you these new Heavenly Travelers, nor would I have bought the new binding machine. I'm still going to continue to make journals like these, right? But I want to have a variety, which I always have had varieties. Because back in the day, if you remember, it's all dusty. I would love to get back into creating the leather ones. Oh, I love these. Oh my goodness. So I went to the leather shop and I just bought a big leather and got the stamps and the dies and that's golden embossing. Put the wings. Anyway, I want to make some leather ones again. I just love these. Wow. Okay. So I've made lots and lots of different Heavenly Travelers. That in creating the Heavenly Traveler journals was a journey in and of itself, because how I started the Heavenly Traveler journals was, did you know this is going to be a spiritual gab fest? My apologies. Well, back in the day when I came out of the closet and I started meeting with people in session. By the way, I don't do the psychic read. Like I said, I'm a medium, true born medium. It's true spirit communication. Anyway, you don't have to be with me in order for your loved one to talk to me, okay? So years and years and years ago, because, there's a lot of people that are skeptical, and I did everything I could to try to prove it. Like, I got to prove that this is real, because if I can prove this is real, then they're going to have a connection too. So it's not so much about me. It's more about my client really knowing it's real. And that way that relationship is established with their loved one who's in the spirit world, and it's pretty rock and roll because that validation. So what I would do is before the session, I would just sit down and document. The spirit world would come through, and I would start writing down what they wanted me to write down before the client came. And and so then when the client sat down across from me, I would just be full of notes, just like bullet point, boom. And I would just go down the list of what their loved one was saying to me before they got there to alleviate any thought of, oh, she's doing a cold read or whatnot. And let me just tell you something. Now, I know Google's a thing, right? Because people go, wow, she could just Google that. But my clients always were like, holy crap, you can't Google that. That's nowhere online. So the information the spirit world would give me was not Google. It was only something they knew that their loved ones knew. It was just not something that information that I would have. So, and I would just use a legal pad, and then I would tear it off and give it to them after the read, the page. And then from there, I thought, wow, I want to create some little cute, instead of just tearing up a piece of paper when I'm doing this, and also too, I want people to continue the communication. And so that way they know the spiritual breadcrumb trail, because during the read, your loved ones will bring me a lot of information, deliver a lot of information to you. Let's just say you're the one receiving the read, that hasn't happened yet. It's going to be a validate at a later date. And so that's following the spiritual breadcrumb trail. So after a session with me, my clients are always on the spiritual breadcrumb trail, and they're learning to document the information. Anyway, so I made the decision that I would want to create something pretty, and I knew it had to have angel wings. And so I had my daughter with the stamp carve out some beautiful. So these are the original angel wings, which I still stamp onto. This is from the computer, this new little one. So we have now 2 cute angel wings. But so that's the creation. Had I not, what a shame it would have been, this journey. What was I thinking in that I could just give it all away and walk away from this? Was I slowly dying inside and just letting go of my life and walking away from my mission of purpose? And as though this work that I do here in the Heavenly Traveler workshop is an extension of my work as a medium. In fact, this is a rather solid foundation of my work as a medium, quite frankly, because if my clients will document, and then maybe when I'm documenting and delivering them the book for the read, this continues the spirit communication. So I'm looking at this now really, and that hindsight, like, wow, I really had lost my way. Now, let me give you an example too of a spiritual breadcrumb trail too, by the way. So today I was coming in, and I picked up a lot of books at, coming into the Heavenly Traveler workshop right this morning. And I've, at the Goodwill or Salvation Army, picked up a lot of old books. So I could use the covers, like, for instance, this one here was an old book from a thrift store, right? And so I take the text block out. And this morning, I thought, what size do I want these new ones what size do I want them to be? 6x9? What size? So I came in and picked up a text block and measured it, and just to see, is that about right? Is that about right? Okay. This is just the one I grabbed, but right here, Christmas 1942. Does that say Lucille? Sorry, my eyeball's a little blurry. But interesting. So 1942, that's something that, or maybe this is something that I would actually tear out, right, from my junk journal. And maybe I would just add this in here, right? Cut it out, cut it down a little bit, tape it in here, whatever. Just that's what that's about here. Kind of neat, 1942, right? What does it mean? I don't know, but I'm certain that it might pop up again. That's part of the spiritual breadcrumb trail. When you see something and it just grabs you, like that date grabbed me, Christmas 1942 grabbed me. It feels like, wow, I'm supposed to know this. And so anyway, I am back in. This is my long way of telling y'all. I got myself a nice little cup of coffee here. This is my long-winded way of telling y'all I'm back. I fell, but I got back up again, and I'm creating again. So I'm going to stop now because I think my phone is about dead. Otherwise, we'll be cut out. Have a most beautiful day, and thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. If you've not already done, please do subscribe, like this video, and go on over to mediumintheraw.com. And if you want to support the work that I do, go to mediumintheraw.locals.com. Anyway, this is all. That's it for now. And hey, don't forget, hope springs eternal. Positive mental attitude. You can do this. Get back up. Get back up again. You can do this. I love you all so very much. And as always, carry on.